Good afternoon. guys. Um, Welcome to Financial Literacy. You can see I put up the question. It says, "What are your financial goals?" Um, all of us at some point are doing some financial thing. You have to be anything, but setting is I want to talk today is sometimes we refer to things as bucket list, things that we really want to do, before we die or something. Um, some people want to like skydive. Some people would like to climb Mount Everest. Some people would like to go to like Hawaii, Australia, whatever it is. All of us have bucket lists that we really would like to accomplish, in our lifetime. So, some of us like to travel to a foreign country. It can be any of those things. But in order to do that, a lot of them, there's a financial component to, if we want to go to, Paris, we want to go to Paris. Well, that's a realistic goal, but you have to keep in mind there is going to be a financial component to it because you have to think about, your plane ticket, hotel, or like Airbnb, wherever you're going to stay over there, spending money. Might need to get like a passport. So whenever we come up with this bucket list, we certainly encourage all of us to do it, but with it, there comes some, financial planning that we have to take into account. And, some of your bucket list might be small things too. It might be like, I need to save enough so I can buy a car, but buying a car might be, as expensive going to Paris or, get caught up with, my credit card bill. Maybe you're a month or two behind. So, all those things are important when we're doing financial planning. But keep in mind, too, when we're doing financial planning, our goals can be broken into three kind of different categories. There's short term, there's medium, and then there's long term. Okay. Short term is usually 6 months or less. Medium, less than a year. And long term would be a year or longer. Okay, so you can see, your short term ones are hopefully we can accomplish those in 6 months. The medium, that's anywhere from 6 months to a year, and your long term financial goals, those could be a year or longer. And some of these things, you guys, when we have financial goals, I guess they could be broken into really two categories if you think about it. We have needs and we have wants. And if we just did a T-chart of needs versus wants and kind of put our goals into both categories, for example, I'd say the trip to Paris, that's more of a want. But if you currently like have a job and you're taking the bus and you'd really like to buy a car, I mean, that could be legitimate, need because obviously you need to get to work. Buying a car could be a want too, because you could look at I'm taking the bus, but you're also when you're on the bus, it's taking up maybe an hour commute in the morning and an hour commute after work. So there's a convenience factor in there. So buying a car that could be really a need. Okay, and then also getting caught up in our credit card bill. We'll put current on credit card. I'll abbreviate that. That's really a need because what happens is you're getting a late fee. You're probably paying a high interest rate. So that's something we really want to look at trying is really a need because for our financial well-being, we don't like paying extra money that we don't have, especially on a credit card bill, because a lot of that stuff we've already purchased and we're already using it. So that's something that really maybe is a need right now. Another want could be Mount Everest. I want to climb the highest mountain in the world. It's a great goal, but it's maybe something we don't need to do right away. It's still a goal of ours, but that's more of a want. So, you guys, when you're doing your goal setting, it's kind of important to realize, and it's not bad to have wants. Don't think we don't. We all need certain things that are going to keep us happy, but a lot of times, our needs are the goals that we really want to, address right away. And for example, like if you're buying a car, we're just going to look at buying a car. What would that take? That might be for you guys. It might be a short term, or even a medium. Could you save enough money in 6 months to buy a car? If not, could you do it in like 10 to 11 months? That's kind of, you have to be realistic with yourself. I mean, maybe to buy a car, you might need, we could say down payment, maybe like $1,000 to $2,000. I mean, for 6 months, that would be about, it's almost like $170 a month if we're looking at short term. And medium, that's maybe $100 to $200 a month. So that's not really so far off. If you really think that you need to buy a car to get to work, to get to school, or whatever, then I think that would maybe for you guys fall into your short term or medium term goal because if you're able to, save anywhere from $100 to $200 a month, that's something that's really realistic. Okay. Um, so what I want to do, you guys, is I'm going to post kind of a goal worksheet for you guys to work on. And I really want you to think about, like I said, there's really nothing wrong with, if we went back up to here, about our goals. You can have goals that are really big, maybe even owning a house. And that one could also be over, maybe it's more of a need than a want. Maybe you don't want to pay rent anymore. You want the money you're paying for your shelter, you want that to go to equity that you're going to earn because the more you pay on your house, the more you own of it. And basically it gives you better credit. It also gives you some equity because instead of paying it to a landlord, you're paying it to bank. And then what's paid off that house is yours. Whereas if you're paying rent, you're basically paying your landlord's mortgage and probably, there's very little chance eventually that's going to be, your house. So certainly buying a house is a goal that a lot of people have. That might not be necessarily a short term. It might be a younger term where it might be a couple of years. that you need to save enough money, because a lot of houses, they want you to put 10% down. So let's just say, you know, you want to buy a house and it's maybe $100,000. You would need probably $10,000. And let's say you do set yourself a long-term goal of 24 months. If you could save like $250 a month for 2 years, you'd have your down payment right there. So if buying a house is a goal of yours, you know, it could be, some of you could maybe do that in a year. I mean, could you save, you know, $1,000 a month? I don't know. A lot of it depends on what your current bills are, what your job is, how much you're making. But I think you guys get the point. We have to, two things. We have to really look at, you know, these goals right here. Are they short term? Are they medium? Are they long term? And then I think you really have to identify that goal. Is it more of a need or a want? And some of these can be both, you guys. I'm not saying necessarily to fit in one column. And once again, there's nothing wrong with having a want. You know, obviously, like I mentioned, we all have things that we want. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes I think meeting the goals for our needs sometimes are maybe a little more important. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and post kind of a goal setting sheet. There's 6 steps to it. I want you to just take, you know, take a little time, think of some of the goals you have financially, then identify if it's a short term, medium, long term, and then really look at, is that a need or a want for me? All right, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.